When Emma first met Daniel, she believed she had finally found the person she could trust forever. They met on a rainy evening in a small coffee shop. Daniel was sitting alone near the window, reading a book. Emma accidentally dropped her bag, and he helped her pick everything up. It was a simple moment, but somehow it changed both of their lives. Over the next few months, they became inseparable. They talked for hours every night, shared their dreams, and promised each other they would always be honest. Daniel was the kind of person Emma thought she could build a future with. He remembered small details about her, supported her when she was struggling, and always told her that she was the most important person in his life. After 3 years together, they moved into an apartment and started planning their future. But slowly, something began to change. At first, Emma ignored the signs. Daniel started spending more time on his phone. He would turn the screen away whenever she walked into the room. He began coming home later from work and giving different explanations. "I'm just tired," he would say. "It's been a stressful week." Emma wanted to believe him. She told herself that every relationship had difficult moments. She didn't want to become the person who suspected the worst without proof. But deep inside, she felt that something was wrong. One night, while Daniel was sleeping, his phone received a message. Emma didn't want to look. She knew that opening it would change everything. But the feeling in her heart was stronger than her fear. She picked up the phone and saw a name she didn't recognize. The message was short. "I miss yesterday. I wish we could do it again." Emma felt like the entire world stopped. She checked the conversation. There were months of messages. Months of lies. Daniel wasn't just hiding a mistake. He was hiding a completely different life. The person he had been talking to was someone from his workplace. Someone he told Emma was just a friend. Emma sat there silently, trying to understand how the person she trusted the most could hurt her so deeply. The next morning, Daniel immediately noticed something was different. "What's wrong?" he asked. Emma looked at him and said, "How long were you planning to lie to me?" Daniel froze. For a few seconds, he said nothing. Then he started explaining. He said it wasn't serious. He said he was confused. He said he still loved Emma. But those words didn't fix anything. Because the hardest part wasn't only what he had done. The hardest part was realizing that every happy memory from the last few months now had a question mark behind it. Emma left the apartment that day. She didn't leave because she stopped loving him. She left because she finally understood that love without trust could not survive. The weeks after the breakup were incredibly difficult. Emma kept remembering the good moments. She missed the person Daniel used to be. Sometimes she wondered if she had made the right decision. Maybe she should have forgiven him. Maybe people could change. But then she remembered how many times he looked her in the eyes and chose to lie. Months passed. Emma started rebuilding her life. She spent more time with friends, focused on her career, and learned to enjoy being alone. One evening, she received a message from Daniel. He wanted to meet. He said he had changed. He said losing her made him realize what he had done. Emma agreed to meet, but she was no longer the same person who had walked into that coffee shop years earlier. They sat across from each other in silence. Daniel apologized. He admitted that he had destroyed something valuable. "I know I can't undo what happened," he said. "But I want another chance." Emma looked at him and remembered everything. The promises, the lies, the pain. Then she calmly answered, Sometimes losing someone is the consequence of not appreciating them when you had them. Daniel looked down. He knew she was right. Emma walked away, not because she hated him, but because she finally chose herself. Years later, Emma thought about that chapter of her life. She realized that betrayal had broken her heart, but it had also taught her something important. Trust is not built by words. It is built by actions. And when someone repeatedly chooses to hurt you, loving them is not enough to save the relationship. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is let go. Because the end of one story can become the beginning of another. And Emma's story was finally about her.